Hi, I'm Paul Drew from the Studio Rats. In this series of videos, I'm showing you how I mix the song This Desire by the Studio Rats featuring the vocals of Jack Rubinacci. Now, in the previous video, we covered drum mixing, and in this video, I'm mixing what I consider to be the most important part of the song, which are the vocals. So let's get to it. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is to just mute all of my inserts and all of my sends. And let's see how the vocal sounds without any effects or any EQ on it.
One night I just can't sleep, so I walk around the room. Each time I close my eyes, I see images of you.
So as you can hear from this vocal, when it was recorded, there were quite a few level changes. Let's add in the inserts and the sends and see how that sounds now.
One night I just can't sleep, so I walk around the room. Each time I close my eyes, I see images of you.
So as you can hear now, the vocal is bold and in your face, and you can hear every single word. Okay, so what we're going to do first of all is to remove all of my inserts. Okay, so let's start from scratch. Now, the first plugin that I'm going to put on this chain is the AE400 Active EQ. Now, this is by DSP. Now, this plugin is fantastic for dynamically removing any problem frequencies or also enhancing dynamically any frequencies you want to boost. So first of all, what we're going to do here is to solo the vocal, and let's solo our bottom frequency. And what I'm looking for here is to remove some of that mud. And just round here is a little bit of the muddy frequencies I just want to remove. But I'm just going to increase the Q here. As I'm really going to focus in on a tight EQ. Okay, let's bring the threshold back. Let's bring up the ratio just a little bit. Right, now I'm going to be looking at the amount of gain reduction that I want to achieve. So let's bring this back down. So if you look at this part of the plugin here, you'll see it dipping just at certain points. And that's basically dipping whenever there's too much of that frequency. So let's take it out of solo mode and let's hear it now.
One night I just can't sleep, so I walk around the room. Each time I close my eyes, I see images of you.
Okay, let's have a look at the low mid frequencies. What I'm going to do is to solo that band. Let's play it again. And let's sweep around. Each time I close my eyes, I see images of you. And around there is a frequency that I want to control. It's probably part of either the microphone resonance or the vocal room that it's recorded in. Right, let's bring back the threshold and bring up the ratio a bit. And let's bring back the gain. Okay, let's turn up the Q just a little bit. And if I play it from around there, you'll really hear the frequency poking out. So let's take it out of solo and let's hear that now.
One night I just can't sleep, so I walk around the room. Each time I close my eyes, I see images of you.
Okay, let's loop this section here, and now let's hear it with the plugin in bypass.
Open up my window, put my head into the breeze. Try to break this fever that's in me.
So what's happened here is I've reduced some of the low frequencies and some of the low mid frequencies, but it's almost given the opposite effect where it sounds like I've actually increased the top end of the vocal. Now, For my mixing technique, I prefer to cut rather than boost. Now, I'm doing all of this before it goes into a compressor. So I'm cutting all the frequencies that I don't really want, as I don't really want the compressor to be reacting to those frequencies. Okay, let's bring in the next plugin. And what I'm going to use here is Console 1. And I'm going to be using this for my EQ. So let's play the vocal.
Cause this desire
Right, let's drive it a little bit.
is burning for you. All this desire
And let's give it some character, which is going to be some top end.
is burning for you. Making love in a moving train, kissing you in the pouring rain. This desire.
Okay, let's low cut, as I want to remove some of the frequencies that I'm not going to be needing in the vocal.
Cause this desire is burning for you. All this desire.
Now, all I've done there is just to remove any frequencies below 96 Hertz. Now, there's going to be nothing in the vocal frequencies, especially in this song, as it's quite a dense song, that is going to enhance the vocal below that. Okay, let's have a look at some of the other frequencies. Let's have a look at some of the low mids. What I'm going to do is to increase the Q.
Making love
And let's
in
boost.
a moving train, kissing you in the pouring rain. This desire.
And around there, I'm starting to get some low mid frequencies that I want to remove from the whole vocal. So not dynamically, that I could have removed with the AE400. So let's just dip that a bit.
Is burning for you.
So now what I want to do is to make the vocals really pop through the mix. And what I'm going to do there is to boost around 3 kilohertz.
I step into the light and I open up my heart. Sing songs of loneliness to the strangers at
And let's give it a little bit top of the
bar.
shelf.
Still the fever sweats from every pore of my skin.
Let's increase the
'Cause
frequency
I
a
know
bit.
you're lying there with him. 'Cause this desire is burning for you.
Okay, let's bypass the plugin.
This desire is burning for you.
And bring it in.
The wind howls and it calls your name. This emptiness drives me insane. This desire.
Okay, I'm not going to use the compressor that comes with Console 1, as I want to use a different compressor. And I'm going to bring in the Wave CLA2A. Let's drag that in.
Right,
let's turn up the peak reduction. As for this track
room,
and my taste, I'd like to be achieving between -5 to -10 dB of gain reduction. And sometimes it pokes over, but that's fine.
Let's
bring back the gain a bit. And check the output.
Try to break this fever that's in me.
Now, if you remember before, and you remember how dynamic the vocals were, and you remember how some of the notes got lost, so listen.
Night I just can't sleep, so I walk around the room.
Especially the can't sleep words there.
Night I just can't sleep, so I walk.
As it almost sounds like Jack pulls away from the microphone. Now let's turn the inserts on and hear again.
Night I just can't sleep, so I walk around the room.
Right, even though we're compressing quite hard, it doesn't sound as though I'm absolutely slamming it, as I still want this vocal to sound natural. Okay, let's close that. And now let's hear that in the mix so far.
Night I just can't sleep, so I walk around the room. Each time I close my eyes, I see images of you. Open up my window, put.
Okay, so the vocal is now much more forward and in our face, but I still think we can do more to it. But now let's load in another compressor, which I'm going to be using the FabFilter Pro C2. But what I'm going to be doing with this is to use the parallel mix control, just so I can blend some of the dry and the wet signal. Okay, let's bring back the threshold. And let's leave the ratio on 4:1. Actually, let's turn it up a bit more. Okay, I'm quite happy with the attack and the release. But let's have a look at the dry and the wet mix. Let's turn up the dry mix a bit. And now let's bring back the output level just so it matches. Bypass it. hit that from the top.
One night I just can't sleep, so I walk around.
Okay, let's bypass all the plugins.
Each time I close my eyes, I see images of you.
And now bring it in.
Open up my window, put my head into the breeze.
So as you can hear now, all the vocals are really controlled, but it still sounds quite natural. Now at this point, I'm starting to feel maybe it could use some de-essing, but let's move on and then I can always add a de-esser later. Okay, the next plugin that I'm going to add is a Maag EQ4. Now, with all of these plugins, I could probably do all of this inside Console 1, but there are certain plugins that I like to have after other plugins and certain plugins before other plugins. So this is why I'm doing it this way. Okay, all I'm going to be using on the Maag EQ4 is the airband, and I'm just going to crank that all the way up to 40 kilohertz. And let's turn up the gain.
Try to break this fever that's in me. 'Cause this desire
And let's bypass that.
is burning for you. Oh, this desire
And bring it in.
is burning for you.
Now what this plugin is going to give me is that great top end that you get from modern vocal sounds. Now let's have another listen to the vocal.
One night I just can't sleep, so I walk around the room. Each time I close my eyes, I see images of you.
So I'm listening to this now and I'm thinking, well, that could possibly do with some de-essing. So let's bring in our de-esser, and I'm going to use the FabFilter Pro DS for this. And I'm going to go in between my two compressor plugins here.
Open up my window, put my head into
Just bring back the threshold a bit and let's increase the frequency range.
fever that's in me. 'Cause this desire is burning for you. Oh, this desire
Okay, let's bypass all our inserts.
for you.
Let's bring them in. So I hope you guys got something out of that. Join me in the next video where I'm going to be looking at automation and effects such as reverb, delays and delay throws. So if you did get something out of that, don't forget to like and subscribe and just ring that little bell down there and it will notify you of any future videos that come out from the Studio Rats. Thanks very much.